What are some ways that being authentic and vulnerable pay off and help you win both personally and professionally? Hi, I'm attorney Paul Deloughery. And before I go on, let me just explain that there is a purpose to this being on a channel that's primarily focused on trusts and wills and probate and asset protection and legal things, okay? There's a point, so stick with me. So the first way that being authentic helps is it's just easier. It's just easier to be yourself instead of trying to be someone else. And I know this from personal experience. Back years ago, okay, let's talk about me being a lawyer. So when I first started, I was seeing myself as being a lawyer and, oh, how should a lawyer behave and how should a lawyer dress and what should a lawyer say and all of that stuff. And frankly, it was just exhausting. And I've just started being myself, and sometimes I say things that a lawyer shouldn't say, and well, too bad. But it sure is a lot less stress. The second way is that being authentic and vulnerable, frankly, attracts people to you, okay? And the next point is also related, but so being authentic and vulnerable acts like a magnet. So the second way that it helps is it attracts people to you, attracts people who relate to you, and that's who you want to spend your time with, people who relate to you, right? And it also helps repel people who don't want to be around you. And well, you probably don't want to be around them either. So again, it just totally saves you time. So that was the second and third point. Now, fourthly, this is related to estate planning. The fourth way that being authentic helps is it helps people know, like, and trust you. Now, if you're a business owner, that's obviously a huge bonus because that's frankly what marketing is all about. Marketing's purpose is to help people know, like, and trust you. So then you don't have to spend as much money to try to convince them to buy from you because they just know you and trust you, and they relate to you at a deeper level. So that's huge. Now, if you've done an estate plan or you care about how your values and wealth are going to be passed to the next generation, now this is where it really relates. And let me tell you a story about this. When I was 16, my dad died. And I'll tell you, it was like having a rug pulled out from under me. I was a senior in high school at the time, ready to start off on a new path in life, and all of a sudden, it felt like I didn't have a foundation. My mom and I also moved to a different city at the same time. I moved from Winona, Minnesota to Bloomington, Indiana, where I started undergrad. And all of a sudden, I didn't have my friends anymore, my support network. I was totally going off on a new thing. And so that was really hard. That was a big challenge. Now skip ahead to when I was 35, and I found out that my dad was not my actual biological father. It turned out that my whole family, my mom and all my relatives, and frankly, probably some of the parents of my close friends, had known this little secret, and I had a different biological father. And I'll tell you, like, I thought the rug was pulled out from me before, at least, I had strong values. I knew about honesty and loyalty and hard work, and just a lot of core values that I clung to. And all of a sudden I just questioned everything because, if these people who I trusted and I relied on, I thought this was part of my foundation, it wasn't true. Then I went back to square one, and I didn't know what to believe anymore. And who was I? And I didn't trust myself, and I didn't trust other people, and I trusted the wrong people. Then I actually met my biological father when I was 42. He died a short time after, and he left me his $28 million estate. Now, after estate taxes, I got about $14 million. So here, plopped in my lap, is a bunch of money. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who to trust. I didn't trust anything. I didn't know what values were good and what wasn't. And so I was searching around, trying to have other people tell me what to do. Well, I'll tell you what, that was just a recipe for disaster. And I trusted the wrong people with, investment people and people who supposedly were going to help me, use my money to make money. Well, it ended up profiting them, and that's about all that did. So it was just a complete disaster. And it all really goes down to just not having an honest background. If my mom, and I know she did it, I'm not blaming her. She's since passed away, but I know my mom had good intentions and everything. But I will tell you that if I had just known and been able to get over it, I could have had a stronger personal foundation that I could have relied on, and I wouldn't have been looking all outside myself for direction about what to do. So being authentic is related to being honest, and it is just very essential. Now, I know my example is kind of extreme, okay? But even if you have $10 that you want to leave to your child in such a way that they're not going to blow it on a bottle of vodka, then you have to be authentic and honest with them, okay? Because otherwise, I'm just telling you from personal experience, they're gonna not know who they are. They're not gonna have a strong sense of what the money is for, what you intended it for. They're not gonna feel as connected to you. And you can have any trust or will or estate plan document put in place, and it can be rock solid. It's still gonna be a disaster. I'm just telling you. Eventually, they're going to get the money, and it's not gonna be used in the best way because they don't have the connection with you, and that's absolutely essential from an estate planning standpoint. It's absolutely essential that you be authentic and vulnerable with your loved ones that you ultimately want to pass your wealth to. So that's where it really comes home. Finally, being authentic helps amplify your message. Now, I'll just tell you from a personal standpoint. If I'm in my head and trying to think about what am I supposed to say and what am I supposed to do, my voice is a little bit thinner and I'm just not as confident. But if I'm just being myself, my voice is deeper. It seems to come from the bottom of my soul, just because, there's an alignment between who I am, what I'm thinking, the message I'm trying to convey, trying to connect with the other person, and it's all in alignment, and it's just a lot more powerful. So there you go. There are 5 powerful ways that being authentic and vulnerable will help you both personally and financially. Thanks for listening to this, and be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll be sending you some videos about estate planning and then other videos about kind of the psychology of money, because to me that's fascinating. So thanks again for listening.